Hi everyone! Welcome to the third video in my series on stress management. In the first two videos, which I've linked down below, we explore how you can identify your stressors using your stress red flags. I'm now going to turn to the different stress management techniques you can use that may help reduce your overall stress levels. In this video, I'm going to guide you through my first technique, which is altering your relationship with your stressors. Future videos will then explore how you might go about reducing or eliminating sources of stress and building your overall resilience. As always, if you want to be notified when one of those have been uploaded, then do hit the subscribe button down below and you'll get a little notification. The first stress management technique is to alter your relationship with your stressors. And the reason I put this first, beyond reducing stressors, is that our perception of an experience can make the difference between it being a stressor, being performance-driving pressure, or even a neutral encounter. And this is especially true when the source of stress is an internal one. As you know, it's impossible to eliminate all sources of stress in life, especially if our default perception is to find stress in whatever we do. So rather than just looking to get rid of everything, run away from everything, we need to first focus inside and address how we are perceiving the things around us that are causing us stress. So the first step in changing your perception is to be aware of your perception. So look through the list of stressors that you compiled in video 2, and for each one, ask yourself the following questions. What about this is making me feel stressed? The categories that you put the stressors into in video 2 will help you dig deeper here. For example, if you've identified that attending a meeting with your board is an internal stressor, what about that meeting is inciting the stress? Is it that you're having to speak publicly? Is it that you feel intimidated by the people on the board? Is it that you're really worried about being asked a question that you don't know the answer to? Once you've asked that for all of your stressors, ask yourself the next question. What do I worry or fear will happen if this thing went wrong? So it's very common for us to create doomsday scenarios in our minds that we're not even conscious of, but that drive us to feel stressed when we encounter a situation or an experience. So carrying on the previous example, if you're feeling stressed at a board meeting because you feel you may not know the answer to a question, you may have built up a subconscious doomsday scenario that everyone will laugh and then fire you even if you can't answer every single thing that they've posed. So when you have that sense of what it is that's causing you to have that reaction, that surge of adrenaline, that surge of stress, the next step is to try and take a more objective view of that stressor. And a really useful exercise for this is to see yourself as a third-party, neutral observer of the interaction that is causing you stress, or the situation that's causing you stress. So imagine that you're sitting in a room where a colleague or someone else appropriate to the setting does the thing that you're most stressed about. So again, carrying through the example, they don't know the answer to a question in a formal meeting. Then think to yourself, how would you, as that third party, actually respond to that situation? Would you laugh and fire them on the spot? Would you instead help them out if you knew the answer that they were struggling to find? Or would you even just task them with finding out the answer and reporting back when they do know it? So in exploring these third-party scenarios, you'll often be able to confront the irrationality that exists in these doomsday scenarios, because they're rarely accurate to what would happen in real life. And by confronting this, you can release the hold it has on you, and it lets you view the stressor more calmly. And again, this will lift its hold on you. So the stressor may not be gone after you've done this exercise, but its impact on you should be a lot smaller because you let go of the irrational fear that might be driving the stressor. Another approach for changing your perception of the stressor is to come at it from a position of strength. So we often feel stressed by experiences or situations where we feel weak or inept or incapable. And a useful exercise to deal with this is to identify your key character strengths. So in the link below, I've linked a free online survey that can help you identify what your key strengths are. So it's just a series of questions and at the end it'll come up with your top 5 key character strengths. And armed with these strengths, I would then invite you to look at your list of stressors once again and view them in turn and see how you might be able to address them with your strengths. For example, if you have an external stressor within your zone of influence, such as having a difficult colleague, it can be a time to flex your strength of love of learning, to work with the colleague, to learn what might be behind their difficult behavior. You could learn more about HR good practice and how to respond to these situations. Or you could even just see it as an exercise in learning more about how you handle difficult situations so that you are better equipped to deal with that in future. As previously mentioned, changing your perception of the stressor doesn't actually eliminate the situation or the experience that generates the stressor. So just because you're no longer worried that you'll be laughed at a meeting doesn't mean that you don't still have to go to the meeting. But having an altered perception can reduce the negative impact of that stressor on you. And as small organization CEOs, we have our work cut out for us with limited resources, limited time, a constant changing and evolving regulatory environment, and all that's wonderful and challenging that comes with running a small organization. And altering our perception of these things, seeing the challenges as more opportunities to grow and to learn, rather than hurdles at which we can fall down, makes it feel a whole lot more manageable. So I hope you found that helpful and you will try the exercises after watching this video. If it feels too intimidating to tackle this by yourself, then I do highly recommend that you talk through these things with a coach. Coaches can provide safe, non-judgmental environments in which they can guide you through the process and help you come to terms with some of these difficult questions that I'm recommending that you ask yourself. But whether you do it by yourself or with someone else, I really appreciate you watching, and I do hope to see you in a future video. Thanks. Bye.